Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now. Thursday, April 20th. Ian Cameron and Alex B. Smith ready to break down the Thursday card. No guests today. It's guest-free, so you're stuck with Alex and I today on the Thursday edition of the show. But great card, 4 games, 4 very important Game 2 matchups taking place on this Thursday night. But first, let's look back on what took place on Wednesday night in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we'll begin with a overtime victory for the Carolina Hurricanes, a 4-3 win over the Islanders. Great to cash the draw in that game. A few of the props actually hit as well. We mentioned on the Islanders side, Brock Nelson to score a goal, get a point, that if they were going to come to life offensively, he would get in on the proceedings, and he sure did for the Islanders, getting a goal and an assist, a 2-point night for Brock Nelson, albeit in a losing effort. We also said, look, Stefan Noesen, man, stick with it with this guy. He's actually leading this series in goals now, believe it or not. Stefan Noesen, not Aho, not Nelson, not Matt Barzal, even though he scored last night. Not Natchez. It's Stefan Noesen. And again, a great goal for him last night for the Carolina Hurricanes. His props were really very appealing as far as the price goes. And the Hurricanes find a way 4-3 over the Islanders. The game goes over the total. A series that we don't really expect to have a ton of goals, but we definitely had a few more last night. Another 1-goal game, and I think you're going to see that be the continuing theme, if you will, throughout this series. So nice to get the draw at plus 340 as a winner. Carolina with the 4-3 win. What I like about Carolina, too, is that, Ronta gave up a few goals. They found their offense. They stuck with it. Again, it was a solid effort from Sorokin, but not enough, obviously, to get the job done. There was that one big bounce goal that was off the stick of almost like an own goal. When I saw Sebastian Aho scored for Carolina, I assumed it was Carolina's Sebastian Aho, not the New York Islanders' Sebastian Aho, but it was off his stick. It took that bounce and went into the net. And obviously, Carolina used that to propel themselves to a 4-3 win last night. Still, for the most part, though, when you look at the box score and the way that game transpired, still Carolina had the better of the play, 36-26, more time in the offensive zone. So they probably do deserve the 2-0 series lead, even though the Islanders were that close to tying it up last night. How about the Florida Panthers? Let's give them their credit. 6-3 over the Boston Bruins last night. I had this hunch yesterday on the show, Alex, that Florida was going to push Boston last night, and I didn't have the guts to take them on the money line, but I did cash the team total for the Florida Panthers over 2.5. I thought, just to get to 3 goals, win or lose, they can do that. Well, they doubled up the 3-goal output. They ended up getting 6 when it was all said and done, and a great resounding bounce-back effort. And now a little chink in the Boston Bruins armor, and maybe a seed of doubt. I don't know. I don't think you can plant a seed of doubt in a team like Boston. Very experienced, not really going to get shaken, if you ask me, by just one loss. That being said, the Florida Panthers announced to everybody last night, we're not going away easily, and we didn't get the memo that we're getting our ass swept in 4 games in this series. So give the Panthers credit, and it was a excellent performance by Brandon Montour. And fitting that he was the catalyst for Florida winning last night. He's had an excellent year. He's been their best blue liner this year. It hasn't been Ekblad. All right. It's been Brandon Montour, and 2 goals for him. Outstanding. Finally, a little bit of a what happened with the Bruin defense type of performance last night. I mean, they were doing shit you don't expect. What did they have? 15 giveaways, 15 turnovers. And I believe Jimmy Murphy in his column, our colleague, he'll be with us tomorrow. He mentioned it. That, a lot of giveaways, sloppiness from the Boston Bruins, shit you don't typically see from them. And, of course, it was not a sterling night for the front runner to win the Vezina Trophy, Linus Ullmark, either. When's the last time we've seen him give up 5 goals in a game? So it was a great win for Florida. And Boston certainly back to the drawing board. Finally, they had a game where they missed Bergeron. You could tell there was that lack of kind of getting the train back on the tracks once it got to 3-2 Florida early in the third and then 4-2. And there really wasn't that gigantic monster push from the Boston Bruins when they were down in the third period. So I really have to give Florida credit with the way they played. It got physical. It got chippy toward the end of the game. Of course, we saw the scrum at the end there. At the end of that game, Lomberg was involved at the end there in a battle. And we saw just if you had the ESPN broadcast on for that Panthers-Bruins game, the hot mics were on. Ray Ferraro had his mic clearly on in between the benches. I don't know if he was able to turn it off or on or not, but he obviously left the mic on, and you are hearing a lot of chirping between the benches, and a lot of it R-rated. Let's put it that way. As far as the chirps were going, I clean it, you fucking loser. I heard that someone was saying that during the scrum at the end of that third period in the Florida bond. That was hilarious. I loved it.
Yeah.
Just hearing the chirps back and forth, and it's getting a little bit ornery right now between the Panthers and Bruins. And hey, maybe we have a series on our hands after all. 1-1 with the scene shifting to Sunrise, Florida for Game 3 on Friday night. Alex, what did you think of the two games in the East last night?
Well, yeah, we got to start with that game with Boston and Florida. Like I said, Florida, responded back after getting knocked down. And that's what they needed to do to show that they have some life. It's a fight in this series. And, were they poking the bear a little bit at the end there, starting a lot of commotion? Yeah, they were. But I think they're well aware of that. Like I said, if we're gonna go down swinging. And, that's the one thing. As much as I've discredited this Florida team, I still don't trust this Florida team. I still think Boston wins the series, but at least they're showing some fight, unlike a couple of other teams that I thought would show some more resilience in the first couple of games played so far. So it's always good to see. And listen, there's people whining and crying on social media about the chirping back and forth. This is hockey, okay? And furthermore, this is playoff hockey. This is not a fucking playground. Okay, and you're going to hear some things that may be a little bit crass and a little bit rude and downright.
Newsflash, folks, that's playoff hockey on the ice. That's what you're saying.
Hockey. Yep. Yeah. These people work their asses off to get to this point, and they're playing at the highest level to get to the goal that they've been waiting to achieve their entire lives. And if you think it's going to be all roses and fucking, tea parties with this shit, it's not. And I just really don't understand it. Like I said, everybody got all up in arms about what Chuck said about some player's wife. It's like, okay, you thought that was appalling, but you laugh at the movie Slapshot, then you're a hypocrite. Okay, and I don't want to fucking hear it. So that's the way I look at it. Like, this is just how the game goes. Okay, it wasn't crossing the line. It was nothing racial or religious or even the attack on someone's family member. That may be towing the line a little bit, but it's something that has been happening for quite some time. And did you see anybody? Did you see anybody flip out and hop the bench or start swinging their sticks or doing anything insane? No, they just chirped back and forth. And if they had a problem with it, they settled it on the ice. And that's what you like to see. But all this back and forth and everybody all up in arms about what someone said, it's like, really, I'm tired of the soft hypocrisy and bullshit, So that's the way I look at it from the fan point of view. But on the ice, Boston played a terrible game. We haven't been able to say that much at all season long. And the gut feeling is what I'm probably going to roll with in the next game is that Boston comes back firing like crazy and playing a much cleaner, tighter game and possessing the puck their own way. And, going back home for Florida, I don't think that changes a heck of a whole lot. I mean, the Bruins fans going to be, stunned by the crowd. If anything, it's going to be split crowd there because you got a ton of Massachusetts transplants that live in Florida. It's been like that for years. We saw it with the Tampa Bay series, and the Tampa Bay's got an even stronger fan base. You still saw Boston jerseys in the crowd there when they met in the playoffs a while back in the regular season meeting. So the crowd advantage won't be a whole lot. I think Boston will get their shit together, and I think sometimes we always talk about this in the regular season, right? Getting away from home can sometimes be a good thing. Maybe getting on the road and having a even more business-like approach to games 3 and 4 might do wonders for Boston.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, the Boston Bruins, their road record this year was pretty damn good. It's not like they're incapable of winning away from home, and they're going to put that to the test, obviously, Friday night in Game 3. Out west last night, I don't want to say status quo, but we kind of thought there was a good chance that the two teams that lost Game 1 would have a good chance to bounce back on their home ice. I especially thought that about the Dallas Stars They roll to a 7-3 victory over Minnesota behind a stunning decision by Dean Evison to rest Philip Gustafson after that game one overtime matchup, thinking he just, it was a lot of shots, have him fresh, actually use the F word, not the F word you're thinking of, fatigue I'm talking about. That was a reason why they decided to rest Gustafson. They say have him ready for game 3. He felt a little tired following game. Come on, tired at this time. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. Everybody sucks it up. Everybody's tired at this time of year. Dean, come on, tired. You think every forward and every defenseman on your team isn't tired this time of year? Of course it is. Now the goalie, it's a lot of rubber and it's a lot of time to face, all those shots. I get it. He probably is fatigued, but you don't think everybody else is? And besides, he's playing great hockey for you. Philip Gustafson, incredible. And right now he's the better option than Marc-Andre Fleury. We love the guy. We all love collectively MAF. All right, Marc-Andre Fleury is the person and the goalie he's been for 2 decades. But there is no human being on this planet that thinks he's the better goalie right now than Philip Gustafson, based on the way it's played out during the regular season here for Minnesota. And sure enough, Fleury gets the surprising start, and Dallas all of a sudden takes advantage of it, and they just light up Fleury in the Wild in the first period, and it was an onslaught that did not let up for 3 periods last night in that 7-goal effort. If I'm Dean Evison or if I'm in his shoes, I'm not settling for 1-1 split. I would never, as a head coach, settle for a 1-1 split on the road. If I won game 1, and whether you say we deserve to win or not, I'm coming after game 2. I'm getting greedy. Okay, that's my thought process as a coach. I'm getting fucking greedy, and I say, I want 2 on the road. I want to go back to Minnesota, or I want to go back to my home arena, whichever it is, city I'd be coaching, and say, I want to go back home up 2-0. And I want to try for the 2-0 series lead. And this felt to me like it was almost like, we're punting on the game, so to speak, with that decision, in my opinion. And sure enough, the Minnesota Wild kind of played like it. I know they did battle back when they were down 4-1. Like, they didn't feel like they were in the game down 4-1, but then Dallas fell asleep there for 90 seconds, which drove me nuts. And it got to 4-3. I'm like, you guys, this game is gift wrapped for you, and you're just about to maybe throw it away. But then Dallas quickly responded 5-3. And once it got to 5-3, it's like Minnesota shut right down all over again. And that was that. But it all started with Dean Evison allowing his players to think that it's okay just to get the split in Dallas in this series. That it's okay. It's 1-1. We've done our job. We won game 1. We've done what we needed to do. We've done enough. And game 2, fuck it. Whatever happens. We'll lose it. We'll regroup and be 1-1 back home. You never piss away a chance to win a playoff game in a best of 7 playoff series, in my opinion. You just never do that. And unfortunately, that's what I thought Dean Evison did. Pissed away the best chance for his team to win game 2, and pissed away a chance for his team to maybe get a 1-1 split in Dallas with I'll be honest, a head-scratching decision. Believe me, I'm not the only one who thought that. But credit to Dallas. Everybody that needed to step up after game 1 that was kind of quiet, Robertson, and especially Sagan was excellent. Ben was excellent. He was noticeable. Rope Hintz, a phenomenal game from him last night. Wyatt Johnston, even though he only got a point, he could add a goal or 2. He was noticeable, the young 19-year-old rookie. It was a great performance from Dallas. It's what you wanted to see. But, boy, they sure got a huge assist from Minnesota and Dean Evison's goaltending decision last night. Alex, thoughts on that?
It's crazy, and we talked about it last night, and we both kind of saying, oh, yeah, settling on the split. I don't think that was the case. My stance has changed this morning. I think, and we talk about Dean Evison, right? He's a great coach. And sometimes the things that can make you a good coach can sometimes come back to backfire on you. And I think his bravado and ego sometimes can get in the way of things. And I think he just overplayed this in the sense of, well, Gustafson played a lot of, saw a lot of rubber, played 92 minutes of hockey. We got the win. Let's throw Fleury in there because we can. Dallas didn't show that offensive punch and power in game 2 like they did in game, that they saw it in game 2, but they didn't see that in game 1. And so they kind of maybe took for granted that, okay, this is going to be that kind of low and tight playoff series that we can just throw Fleury in and he can give us another 3-2, 4-2 win and grind it out. And that wasn't the case, like I said, because everybody else in the world knows that Philip Gustafson has been playing tremendously better than Marc-Andre Fleury. And like I said, it's not a knock on Fleury. And also at the same time, we talked about the way you would want to play these goaltenders. You want to ride Gustafson as much as you can, because if he wears down, then you go to Fleury. If Gustafson's already showing signs that you don't trust him after facing 51 shots in a double overtime game, then you really don't trust him. He's not your playoff goalie. Your playoff goalie is supposed to be your goaltender that really ultimately plays every game start to finish, unless it's a blowout and you're taking him out to rest. You don't do that when you have the momentum in your favor going into game 2. It made absolutely no sense. And now this is 2 years in a row where Evason has made what seemingly at the point looks like a mistake with the goaltending. And if they're bounced out of the series because of it, I mean, you wonder if his job is on the line going into next year, honestly, because this is the same old story with the Wild, right? You get to the regular season, have a great regular season, get to the playoffs, but you can't put it together when it counts the most. And it goes back to the Yo days, the Boudreaux days, and here we are with the same old thing. So it makes no sense why you would risk that just for even the mental state of Philip Gustafson, just sitting down. Because here's the thing. What kind of chaos do you create had the Wild won? What if Fleury posts a shutout and they win 3-0? And now you have an actual controversy in your hands of who goes game 3, because they both played well. They both got wins, but Fleury got the shutout. So does he look better now because he got the shutout and he's the veteran? No. You created chaos where it didn't need to be. And I hope it backfires, because I have a star series bet. I hope it backfires and they lose in 6 games. I have a bet on that too. But it's just insanity. And if you're a Wild fan, I understand being completely frustrated with it, because there was no reason for Marc-Andre Fleury to be in net in that contest.
It was a surprising decision. And I laugh at the fatigue reasoning behind what Evason said about the decision. He played 22 games in the NHL 2 years ago. He played 38 games between Ottawa and Belleville last year with the Senators, their NHL team and the AHL affiliate. 38 games, 39 this year in the regular season with Minnesota. Does that look like a guy that should feel tired?
No.
With that amount of games on.
No. He's fatigued.
He's 24 years old, for crying out loud. Come on, he's a young guy still. What is this tired? It's the playoffs, man. You don't think Kaprizov's tired? You don't think all your defensemen are tired? You don't think Foligno's tired? And all these. No, come on. You got to put him in there.
And here's the thing. If he is fatigued, then he's soft. And I might also call out the Minnesota Wild fans for being soft too. This shit ran again on the news today. They interviewed this sleep expert from somewhere in, I don't know, one of the suburbs, Edina or some shit, and saying, what can Minnesota Wild and Timberwolves fans do to curb for their lack of sleep while watching the playoffs? Are you fucking serious? Why don't you be happy that the Timberwolves of all teams are in the playoffs, and that the Wild, despite having all the struggles they've had the last season and a half, they're back in this spot and actually had a lead in this series until they gave it away? And you're here crying. If you go on Twitter, anytime the Wild play a Pacific Division opponent or they're playing, if it's 8:30 or 9:30 later start, they cry about it more than anybody else. Okay, and we all have to deal with it. Everybody on the East Coast has to deal with it all the fucking time. It's even later for them. But Minnesota fans are the absolute fucking softest when it comes to, oh my God, I gotta stay up. The game starts at 9:30, and it's like, well, then go to fucking sleep and then wake up and watch the replay. Like, seriously, like it's so annoying, and it's constant all the time, and it's always the Minnesota fans. It's always the Minnesota fans. They're the absolute worst with it.
So here's the thing with the scheduling. I get upset about it sometimes too, that some of the games start as late as they do. But here's the thing. They're doing this for television. Like, they want double headers. They don't want games overlapping. They want they want all the fans to see every minute and every second of every game as much as possible. Now, when the early games go to overtime, that's not going to be possible. So they will start the second game of the doubleheader if the other game goes to overtime, like what we saw last night. Islanders Hurricanes were in overtime. They had already started Minnesota and Dallas, obviously, at that time. But the reason they do that and the later starts, even for games that are in this taking place in the Midwest or the Central Time Zone, is for television. They want people to see every minute of every game possible. The one exception, the one day and sport you could bitch about it, especially because Minnesota was playing that day, is Sunday when they played the Denver Nuggets, the Minnesota Timberwolves. The fact that you started your quadruple header at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, the NBA, 5:30 8 o'clock, and then you started 10:30 Eastern time. It was actually almost 11 by the time that damn thing tipped off in Denver against the Timberwolves. 11 p.m. Eastern, which is 9 p.m. locally at Ball Arena in Denver. That's absurd. That can't happen. That's totally ridiculous. That's a disgrace of scheduling right there.
Yeah, and
but the night scheduling, like last night with what the NHL did, what else can they do? They want double headers. They don't want games overlapping. They're doing that for the fans, so they can watch every second of every game as much as possible. I don't know what you can adjust last night. Sunday in the NBA, that was bad. You could add a wide open early afternoon window to start that quadruple header if you're going to go 4 games straight, and then not put the fucking 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. local start time in Denver for that Minnesota-Denver game, which was brutal, I thought. Terrible decision-making there. That's the exception. That Sunday NBA, what we saw.
Right, absolutely. And that's the thing. Yeah, no team game should start that late locally. But it's like as if people here don't understand that, well, the game's not playing here, so it should start. That game would have started at 8 o'clock, 8:30 anyway. And you still would have heard people here complaining about it. That's the thing that's crazy. Yeah, late start that, and the need for a quadruple header on one network was insane too. At least the NHL has that, right? Let's use 2 networks, if not more, to show all the games and try to avoid the overlap. So that was insane in itself. But like I said, it for people to be complaining about it as much as they do is just it really irks.
Yeah, it really hurts. But we got ourselves a 1-1 split now going back to Minnesota between the Wild and the Stars. And the last game last night, boy, I was worried the Oilers were going to do it again. It looked like a carbon copy of Game 1. Great start, early goal. Power play. What a bullet pass, by the way, by McDavid to Draisaitl on that power play goal. He sold shot all the way, zipped a bullet pass right to Draisaitl in his wheelhouse, one-timer, perfect power play goal, 2-0, just the start the Oilers wanted. Same start they had in Game 1. But just like Game 1 at one point, it was looking like they were going to piss it all away again because it was 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. Again, I'll harp on this point all playoffs. They never got it to 3-0. And at that point, LA was still hanging around. And sure enough, they got the 2-1 goal. And then after that, tied it late in the third period. And all of a sudden, it's becoming a concern here again for Edmonton. 2-2 going into the third. But Klim Kostin, who is an unsung hero for this, he's been really good since he came to Edmonton. He gets the go-ahead goal. Stuart Skinner, congrats to him, made a couple of big saves. I thought he was phenomenal. When it was 3-2 in the final 8 to 10 minutes of the third period, made a couple of huge saves. And then, of course, the Oilers get that empty net goal from Evander Kane to put it away and survive 4-2 and close out the game. They got the team defense. They got to block the shots. They cleared the puck when they needed it. They got the saves from Stuart Skinner, unlike at the end of Game 1 when they were trying to hang on to that 1-goal lead. So Edmonton finds a way, and that's what it's about at this time of year, and they avoid a similar Game 1 implosion to tie that series as the scene shifts to LA. And I think Edmonton, Alex, is in a good spot because this has been an amazing road team this year, the Edmonton Oilers. They've actually been much better on the road, in fact, much better on the road than they've been at home. So I would expect them to at least win 1 game in LA. I'm not going to say 2, but they'll at least win 1 in LA because they've been such a good road team. So a huge win. And like I say, this just has that feel of a series that will go 6 minimum.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm an Oiler fan, I wouldn't be so worried about the back and forth pace. I would be a little concerned about the fact you can't hold on to a lead. It would be one thing, like I said, trading goals is one thing, but you've blown a pair of 2-goal leads now at home. That's a little concerning. And so now the thing is, can LA jump out in front of a lead at home? Can Edmonton jump out in front of a lead on the road and then hold on to it? Those are the kind of questions you see. But I think it's just going to, like I said, it would be back and forth. This screams 6 or 7 games for sure, and it's hard to try to jump in on a series price one way or another. Honestly, like I said, I grabbed that series ends in 6. Just gonna stick to that as far as the series price goes, and try to attack this. Probably not even side and total wise. This is more going to be, like I said, a period, first period play or in game looks, and cash in the first period puck line again with Edmonton. That's worked now 2 for 2. So I don't know if we look for that necessarily here in Game 3, but it's something to consider. I think attacking the game period by period is a little bit better than going full game on anything at this moment.
That's a great theme to hit on because that's the way I'm approaching a couple of the games tonight on this Tuesday this Thursday NHL slate here in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Again, another good game from a lot of the Kings, even though they lost. And Deneau was excellent. Deneau has done a great checking job on McDavid, I think. The power plays is really when he's been coming to life. But 5-on-5, it hasn't been great for Connor McDavid. In fact, he's got 1 point, in the first 2 games of this series. And the fact that the Oilers are actually 1-1 in the series with McDavid having just 1 point, in the first 2 games of this series combined, which is actually bad for him. For some people, that's phenomenal. For some people, that's absolutely outstanding. But for Connor McDavid, 1 point in 2 playoff games is not great. So and yet here they are still 1-1 as the scene shifts to LA. And that's a good series. It'll, I think, continue to be a very good competitive series with the Kings and the Oilers. All right, let's turn our attention to tonight. We've got 4 games, and we'll begin in Toronto. It's the first game to drop the puck tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. First round, game 2, Tampa Bay Lightning, Toronto Maple Leafs. We've got the Leafs minus 170 home favorites. The total in this game currently 6, shaded to the over. I think a couple of books have 6.5, but majority of books have 6 here as far as the total is concerned. There's not really much that you need to say as far as Toronto's concerned, other than this is a must-have for them. The prospect of them going down 2-0 back to Tampa Bay would be extremely excruciating and painful, maybe even more painful than losing game 1 the way they did in just such ugly fashion for the Leafs. But very important to note in terms of the lineup for both teams here, because there's a lot to dissect here as far as who's in and who's out for both of these teams. As far as Tampa Bay goes, they've already ruled out Eric Chernak, who is, again, I think one of their best defensemen in terms of shot suppression, defensively, physical. He will not play. He took that elbow courtesy of Michael Bunting that garnered him a 3-game suspension. I knew he was going to get suspended. I'm not shocked. I think he could have said, based on, the severity, maybe just 1 or 2, but I know why they gave him 3. This is a guy that's been an irritant. He's been on the bad side of the referees much of the season. And I think they gave the player safety found this as an opportunity where we're going to make an example out of you. And you're getting a little carried away. This is a wake-up call for Michael Bunting. Stop with the nonsense. And that hit was nonsense. It was stupid. It was dumb. It was unnecessary. And he is paying the price for it with the 3-game suspension. So obviously Bunting's not playing and wouldn't be eligible to return now until game 5 in this series. So he's out for Toronto tonight. But also out for Tampa, Mikey Eyssimont, who took a clean hit. I have no issue with the clean hit that he took, courtesy of Jake McCabe in game 1. He's out. And as far as Victor Hedman, who also left that game due to injury, game time decision is what John Cooper said. So we'll have to wait until the pregame skate. There is some good news, though, for Tampa Bay. Well, maybe it's good news. He really hasn't done jack shit since he got there in the trade from Nashville. But Tanner Jeannot will be returning from a lengthy absence for the Tampa Bay Lightning and will play tonight in game 2. So that could add some spice. I mean, he hasn't given them shit offensively since joining Tampa Bay, but certainly a physical player could add to the animosity factor, if you will, between these 2 teams tonight. So, and get in on the forecheck, do all those little things. So those are the big lineup adjustments. Bunting out for Toronto. We will see the Leaf playoff debut of Matthew Nyes tonight. The great college player out of Minnesota. Just an outstanding year for him, an outstanding team that was. He got into 3 regular season games down the stretch and did not look out of place. And it's really amazing to see all these college players come into the NHL and not look out of place. Nyes hasn't looked out of place. Brock Faber hasn't looked out of place for the Minnesota Wild. Luke Hughes, look what he did for the New Jersey Devils down the stretch of the regular season. So I actually think it's a boost. I think the playoff spotlight won't be too bright for him. Will he make the odd mistake? Yeah, of course. He's a young kid. But I thought there was a lot more good than bad. He's a big body presence. He shields the puck well. He takes the puck to the net. He's got the elements of someone that could be a very effective power forward at a time like this in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how he fares in this game. No goalie change as expected, even though it was a rough night. It was a rough night for the entire team, but it was also rough for Samsonov. He's back in net. Of course, there'll be Vasilevsky for Tampa Bay. If you're the Leafs here, you got to come out firing. And I think after getting embarrassed, and Morgan Riley said it, William Nylander said it, Mitch Marner said it, everybody in the press conference quotes, yes, this morning after the morning skate and yesterday said the start buried us. The start is where we were bad. Okay. And we got to have a much better start right from the opening puck drop. Multiple Leafs said that. So, if you're interested in Toronto, and I meant what I said yesterday, I'm not touching Toronto. I'll touch some props. I'll look at the total tonight, but I will not be looking at Toronto. I put them in timeout for tonight. I got to see it, but I do think this does set up spot-wise very well for them. They're saying the right things about a hot start because they know that 3-0 first period deficit pretty much buried them in game one. So I think if you're going to take Toronto tonight, focus more on that first period. You could go with Toronto, -1. You could go with Toronto in regulation, which is around +102. But I think that first period, especially the puck line, which is out there at +160, at DraftKings and Bet365, you got to think that's where they'll be at their best tonight and strongest, the Leafs, is that opening period, knowing what a debacle that first period was the other night. So I think the Leafs first period spot is a good spot. It's a good price, -0.5, +160 if you're going to look at the Leafs here tonight, which I do lean with, but I'm worried to touch it at this point until I see better. I do like some props in this game. Nylander scored in game one. He's been one of the few consistents for the Leafs in the playoffs in terms of production. So I don't mind a look toward Nylander to score a goal tonight for the Leafs here in this game. Probably a good chance. And his over shots on goal makes sense. I think it's going to be a high volume shot night for the Leafs. So, Nylander, Matthews, Marner, any of those guys to go over their shot prop makes a lot of sense to me in this game. O'Reilly is one of those rugged playoff performers. So, to look at either a goal prop, and he did score in game one, but more importantly, a point prop, which is only, -122, a very fair price. I could see that here tonight in this game. For Tampa Bay, Corey Perry was excellent. If you think it's going to continue, 1 goal, 2 assists. He had a great game one. He's a Toronto killer, historically, going back to any team he's played with. So, there's a prop to look at. I still wouldn't shy away from Alex Killorn, Kucherov, Stamkos. I'd really center on those guys for Tampa as far as props go. But this prop that I like the most, and maybe the bet that I like the most in this game, and I like actually the first period over and the full game over. I'm going to get right back to those two bets like in game one because, look, if Tampa's depleted on the back end, we already know Chernak, one of their better defensive-minded defensemen, is out. What if Hedman's out too? That is huge. That means there's going to be room. There's going to be time and space out there for Toronto to make hay. And at the same time, Toronto showed you in game one, is their defense going to shut it down? Maybe not. So it's probably an over theme for me again here. First period, full game tonight in game two. But the number one bet for me in this game, I think you already know where it's headed. It's Andrei Vasilevskiy over saves. I think he's going to be pelted with shots tonight in this game. Pelted, because this is a must get for the Toronto Maple Leafs. This could be 30, 35, maybe even 40 shots here for this Leaf team tonight. Absolute desperation. Marner's got to be better. I thought Matthews was good defensively, but, he's got to make more of an offensive impact. Marner was really poor in game one. He's got to be better. The whole blue line has to be better. I think they were a little bit more aggressive maybe, and the blue liners joining the play as well. But regardless, I think this is a game where Andrei Vasilevskiy for the Lightning is really going to face a lot of shots. Now, a lot of books don't have his saves props posted yet because he hasn't been confirmed as the goalie, and we're seeing a lot of late posting now on game day with these save props. But I expect it to be, in the last game, it was in that 30.5 range, his save prop. I'd expect it to be right around there again. So over 30.5 saves, 31.5 saves, it's probably going to be right around that number. I do like it for Andrei Vasilevskiy in this one. It's probably one of the best ways to attack it. If you like Toronto, especially because then you don't have to worry about the puck going in, which again with Vasilevskiy, when he's on his game, sometimes that's difficult to see the puck cross the goal line. What do you think here, Alex? Game 2, Tampa Bay, Toronto.
Yeah, I love the overlooks, but I'm going to wait in game. I want to get a better price with that 1.5, and I'm trying to get a 5.5 laying a price or hopefully plus money as well. Then I think, like I said, we're going to see a frenetic pace between both teams. Toronto's got to play this one completely all out, especially in the first period. You cannot, they said, you have to cut off game one, forget about that, and treat this as this is your reset. And this is the only reset you're going to get because you go down 0-2, you're in a massive world of trouble. But the one thing I would look at, if I like Tampa Bay, if you like Tampa Bay and you're watching this, obviously you're going to look at the dog price plus 150. But I would probably take a look at Ilya Samsonov under saves. There's been kind of talks about, he's looking, a little ginger, moving post to post. Wondering if he might be dealing with something, and if he
had
gets
injury
/
illness down the stretch. That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so if he gets lit up early, Toronto's going to have to just make a change. It's not even necessarily meaning, he's actually hurt, but they're going to have to shake things up and probably bring in Wall. They can't afford to go down 2-0, 3-0 in this game. So if you like Tampa Bay, I would sprinkle a little bit on the under saves, 27.5 for Samsonov, and you may be looking at he could possibly get pulled. So that's something I would take a small shot with. But like I said, I'm staying away from sides and totals here. I'm going with sides and totals pregame. I'm going with totals in game for the first period and the full game.
Yeah, we're seeing that a couple books. Yeah, there we go. I see it now. Bet365 didn't have it just an hour ago. They do now. Yeah, 31.5 for Vasilevsky's save prop number. Yeah, I like it over. I think he can. I think he's going to be under siege tonight from this.
Whether they win or not, that's a good bet. That's like I said, that's probably the more solid, safer option to stay away from really anything involving a win or loser.
Yeah, because this could be a game where Toronto gets 4, 5, 6. Because remember, they did beat Tampa 5-0 in Game 1 at home last year, so they can light it up if they're on their game. And Vasilevsky's a little bit off his game, which we've seen this year at times that Vasilevsky can be off his game. But it could go either way with that. It could be 5 goals on 42 shots, could be just 1 or 2 goals on 42 shots if Vasilevsky's a brick wall. So that's why that saves prop is a good approach.
And even if you like Toronto to come out hot, the likelihood of Vasilevsky getting ran out is much, much lower than Samsonov getting ran out. So so I still would like that. Even if I like Toronto to win big, or I would still look at that Vasilevsky over.
Yeah, definitely. Plus, again, if it's a depleted blue line that's already without Chernak, it could still be without Hedman tonight. Yeah, there's going to be more shots, and I think they'll give up more shots. The shot suppression will not. The shot suppression already takes a hit without Chernak because he blocks so many shots, and he's in good defensive posture. But then without Hedman as well, that could be trouble, and that's why the shot clock could ramp up tonight for Toronto big time, plus the urgency factor, as I mentioned. All right, we got Rangers and Devils. We've got Devils minus 135, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. I like the Rangers in the series, but I like the Devils here in Game 2, and I bet the Devils here in Game 2 minus 135. They're a really good hockey team. Game 1 was kind of what I thought might happen. The Rangers, just used their playoff experience from last year, going all the way to the Eastern Conference Final. A goaltender that's had a full couple of playoff seasons now in Shesterkin against a team that's just experiencing this shit for the first time. Really, a lot of these Devils players. I think the Devils will be calmer tonight, relaxed. I think they'll have a greater idea of the intensity of the pace that you see at playoff time, just how much of a physical, how much you have to up the ante, if you will, from a physicality standpoint at this time of year. I think all of that was basically a new experience here for New Jersey in the first game of this series. So I'm just going to go with New Jersey here, minus 135 here in Game 2. I am tempted, though. You know what I might do? And I'm doing this with Seattle, Colorado later, which I'll mention. I like the one side, but I also like the team total for the opponent because it's 2.5. And I really still like it with the Rangers. I mean, they put it out there again at just 2.5 with their team total. Even though I don't like them to win Game 2, I could see 4-3 Devils. I could see 5-3 Devils. I could see 5-4 Devils. And Devils win, and the Ranger team total over still hits. And you could have a chance to cash both sides of it. So that's the way I'm going here. I got the Rangers team total over again, New Jersey money line, and I'm back to the well with a first period full game over. I'll keep hammering these 5.5s if they're going to put it out there at that number in this series, because to me, for all the defensive ability the Rangers have, for having one of the best goalies in the NHL, for New Jersey being able to clamp down on defense sometimes when they want to, there's just too much firepower, too much weaponry. The power plays are too good. The Rangers showed it in Game 1. I think the Devils' power play will be a little bit better. I also think they'll get a few more calls to go their way tonight, the Devils, and I think they could capitalize with it. Just there's too many offensive game breakers, and I think the pace of both of Game 1 was high enough that I just can't believe this total once again, Alex, is below a 6. here in game 2 tonight. So I'm on the first period over, the full game over, the Devils money line, and the Ranger team total again at over 2.5. Alex, Rangers, Devils.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with the Devils on the money line. I grabbed that at minus $1.30 yesterday, and I'm also going back to the well with the first period over. I mean, like I said, seeing this low of a number, I've seen as low as minus 108 at FanDuel for the first period over. That's crazy. When that last game should have had 4 goals in the first period, not just 2. So, like I said, take what the books give us, and they're giving us great value. So definitely right with that. Like I said, I felt this is going to be a breakneck back and forth series the entire time. So it just feels right, to go with the zigzag theory here of backing the Devils. Is a cheap enough price for it. I saw KT Owusu in the chat saying he thinks the Rags could sweep. If you do, the way to play that would be grab game 2 money line, grab Rangers to win in 4, and a little bit of Rangers to win in 5 to ensure those good prices moving forward. If you feel that comfortable about it, you have that set up, because you're not going to get these prices if the Rangers go up 2-0 going back home. And that's the theory I talked about yesterday. It didn't work out with Minnesota, but I'll be talking about it again with one of the Western Conference series as well.
All right, and a lot of props I like here as well. Jack Hughes to score tonight. Hey, look, if they're going to win, Devils, he's going to have a hand in it. He'll score. He'll find the back of the net. So I like Jack Hughes goal prop, in the plus 140 range is what I'm seeing here. How do I not take, in this too, an old friend of mine from this Devils team, and I think he could actually strike tonight. And down the stretch, he was starting to heat up. Remember, he had that incredible double-digit point streak. Then he cooled off for a bit. Down the stretch, he started to heat up again. A little bit quiet in game 1, but everybody for New Jersey was. It's back to Dawson Mercer. Hello, my old friend. Dawson Mercer, point prop here for the New Jersey Devils, minus 126. I think that's not a bad option here as well tonight for this game. On the Rangers side, Zibanejad was quiet in game 1. Sometimes in these playoff series, you bet someone in one game and they're quiet, and you say, oh, geez, they didn't do anything, and you don't bet them the next game. That's sometimes when they wake up and they make an impact. So I'd probably go away more from Kreider, and more towards Zibanejad, maybe to find the back of the net at around plus 230 at fan. I like that price for a guy that did nothing, that probably knows he could play a little bit better. Plus 230 for Mika. Zibanejad here to score a goal tonight, I think might be worth a look. And after having 4 assists for the New York Rangers in game 1, Adam Fox, who, by the way, his point prop is minus 145. You could go with that, or you could even get a better price and just hone in on the assist prop for Adam Fox, which is only minus 114. So again, this guy had 4 assists for the New York Rangers in game 1. So that's a prop that definitely appeals to me. And we talked about the saves prop with Vasilevsky in the Tampa Bay Toronto game. I think this might be Igor Shesterkin over saves, because again, you got a team that's at home, trailing the series 1-0. It's going to want to be throwing everything they can and all kinds of rubber at the opposing Rangers net. And I think you're going to probably see that from the New Jersey Devils tonight. So Igor Shesterkin, and I see his saves prop is posted at a lot more books than, say, the Tampa goalie Vasilevsky, and it's 31.5 as well for Igor Shesterkin tonight. So that's probably worth a look too. Igor Shesterkin over saves prop here for the New York Rangers. All right, great stuff. That's the Eastern Conference first round game 2 matchups tonight. 208 live viewers on YouTube. A good amount of live viewers. We appreciate it. Hit the like button. Shout out to our podcast listeners as well. Back to talk Western Conference first round game 2 matchups involving Winnipeg, Vegas, and Seattle, Colorado, coming right up right after we hear from our good friends at Gramco.
Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Gramco. Whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, court, or the ice, Gramco is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, Gramco provides customers with consistent quality Delta 8 THC products ready for any occasion. Gramco currently offers numerous Delta 8 products, including vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. Gramco offers an enjoyable, legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you. Gramco is also available at many American retailers as well. You can get the best Delta 8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from Gramco. And if you visit www.thegramco.com. Use promo code Ice Guys. You will get 20% off of every order, and any order that's on the site over $50 will be shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with Gramco and check out their wonderful Delta 8 products today.
And we have ourselves some brand new products that are available with our friends at Gramco. And Alex, tell us about it.
Yeah, just wanted to say thanks to Robin, our representative over at Gramco. She sent some of the new HHC and CBD gummies. They're both in watermelon flavors. The CBD, the 25 milligrams, and the HHC 20 milligrams. So if you're looking for just some pain relief and joint inflammation relief, use the CBD. And if you want to just have a real nice, relaxing experience, maybe for after the games, that HHC will get you nice and ready. So check out thegramco.com. Use promo code Ice Guys. You can also use promo code for today, Ice Guys 420. That'll also work to celebrate the holiday, of course, 420, and you get 20% off your order.
I got to imagine those Gramco products are great at playoff time, especially after a high stress, high adrenaline flowing night of watching Stanley Cup playoff hockey, which is not for the faint of heart. And then you basically get to cool off and relax and take a downer with some Gramco stuff.
Absolutely. Sure. Even the CBD because it's not psychoactive, but it just relaxes your body. It's like having a great, like massage after a tense night.
Yeah. And we figured we'd go talk. It's happy 420, of course. Yes, absolutely. So all the more reason to really hammer it home that our association with thegramco.com and the great products that they have certainly is. So 420, appreciate it very much, and shout out to everyone celebrating it. All right, next up on this slate for this Thursday night, we'll turn our attention to the West now, and we will start in Colorado, where we've got Seattle taking on Colorado. We've got the Kraken right now, the Avs minus 220, home favorites, 6 the total here in this game too. Which, I mean, for Colorado, it's kind of like deja vu with the other teams we talked about, because in all 4 of these games tonight, we've got, the home team down 1-0 in the series. And we've got that once again here tonight with Colorado, who are looking to bounce back after a loss to Seattle in game 1. This is one where I'm a little bit more cautious, to be honest, to endorse, the team down 1-0. First of all, it's all about the price. Why I'm a little hesitant. I mean, this is minus 225, and it's moving up to minus 230 and even minus 240, in some spots right now with Colorado. That's pretty rich for a Colorado team that certainly they could bounce back, and maybe they roll 6-2, 5-3, something like that, and they tie this series. Very much could happen. But there is just very little evidence that Colorado has had an easy time of it with Seattle this year, including, of course, game 1 the other night. These teams have played 4 times. Seattle's 3-1, and the only Colorado win was in Seattle, 2-1 in a shootout. Seattle is 3-0 in this building at Ball Arena this year against the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, some people might not even realize that or be shocked by it, but 3-0 for the Kraken in Colorado this year. This is a tough price to stomach for me, because I certainly get the spot, and the spot bettors coming out in droves. This is the Stanley Cup champions, down 1-0 at home. They absolutely have to win this game. I know there's people thinking that. Let's go Colorado Avs, regulation, especially puck line, lay the big wood on the money line, maybe even do that, but I'm a little hesitant. What I am going to do is take Colorado in the first period, just like I recommended with Toronto. It's what I'm going to do here. It is a bet for me here in the first period, because I really like that price more than anything. I mean, the regulation price on Colorado, some books have it as high as minus 145 now. Even at the Pinnacle reduced juice book, Pinnacle Sports, which I love, even there, it's still only minus 128, for the regulation price. This to me looks like last night, where if you take Edmonton, the regulation price wasn't great, but you look maybe first period puck line, you look maybe team total over, which ended up getting there at 3.5 with Edmonton. And I know the Avs team total over is 3.5 here. to be quite honest with you, I'm a little bit more interested in the Seattle team total over 2.5 at plus 105 with what I saw from them. The reason why is because I think they can skate with Colorado. They showed it in game one. They're a fast hockey team. Lines 1 through 4, even their lower bottom 6 forward group players have shown it all year. The ability to just skate and be able to keep pace, with a team that drives the pace better, not pretty much better than anybody else in Colorado. And so Seattle, because if you watch their lineup, McCann, Beniers, Eberle, Schwartz, Wenberg, Geekie, great skaters, Tolvanen, Gord, Bjorkstrand. These are all above average skaters. They can play with pace, and they are not in awe of it. And they've got a goaltender in Philip Grubauer. I said it after game one. He wants to beat this team. I know it because they said, hey, we're passing on you 2 years ago. If we're going to complete our Stanley Cup mission, it's not going to be with you as our goaltender. And they ended up signing Kemper when it's all said and done. So I think when you look at this game here, this is kind of like what I'm doing with the Rangers-Devils game, where I do like the price on Colorado first period puck line. I don't love it for the regulation price, so I'm not betting that. I'm just going to go with that first period puck line on Colorado, -0.5, plus 135. I will be on that. I am by the way, at 5.5 at Proline Plus, Betway, the Score Bet, FanDuel. They all have this total at 5.5. I like over 5.5 here in this game if that's the number they're going to put out there. And I'm also going to put that Seattle team total in pocket at 2.5. So it's a weird approach here, but I think that's a decent chance we go 3-0 with all these approaches. The Colorado puck line, Seattle team total over 2.5, which is plus 105 at Pinnacle, a great price, and the over 5.5 for the full game. So that's the approach for me. And like I say, if you like Colorado on their own, I would say first period puck line and team total over are a little bit better bang for your buck than, say, the regulation price, which is now up in the -130 to -140, even -150 range with the line move toward Colorado. The over 3.5 at -105 to -110 team total is probably your better option if you really like Colorado for the duration of the 60 minutes. What do you think here, Alex? Game 2, Seattle, Colorado.
Yeah, you made a great point about Seattle being just a better, looking team as far as skating goes, and they are clearly the better skaters right now. And the Avs, like I said, I just don't see that intensity. I don't see that next level, that energy that something's missing there with that. And I don't think it's just personnel; it's just something internally. And I'm not sure what the case is. So I like that Seattle look of team total over 2.5. At plus money. I would probably lay that all the way to $1.10, $1.15. And then I like the full game over, but I want to wait and grab a 5.5 in game for sure. Because I think, maybe Seattle could, slow this game down a bit after getting a lead. And Colorado, if they don't show that fight, show that energy back, this could be another 3-1, 3-2 kind of a game. I don't want to be stuck with a 6 again. So Colorado's got to show that energy. And like I said, if you like the Avs, first period puck line needs the cash for the Avs to win this game. If it doesn't, if it stays, 1-1 or they're trailing, that seems to be problematic because they just don't seem to be making the proper adjustments, not even just from a game plan perspective, but just from an energy level perspective right now, based on what we saw in the first game.
Yeah, no question. As far as props go, now, McDavid didn't score last night, but, he had some chances. He had like 7 or 8 shots on goal, so it's not like he was terrible, but he did not find the back of the net, much to my chagrin. I think McKinnon will tonight. McKinnon usually, when the Colorado Avalanche lose in the playoffs, and McKinnon had a lackluster game one, you just got to bet him, to score the next game. If they're going to tie this series, he's going to have a hand in it here tonight. So it's only -115, -120. His goal prop. You can't say the price is great, but certainly you'd have to think he's got a great chance to get on the scoreboard for this one. I'm going to probably look at Devon Taves to get a point. The Cale Makar prop to get a point probably is worth a look, but unfortunately the price you see with the point prop for Makar is -200. So, but the assist prop for Cale Makar is only -130. I think that's a solid option for you here in this one. I mean, focus on the big Taves, Makar, McKinnon, and Rantanen. Those are going to have to be the guys because, quite honestly, and I said it after game one, Alex, they're not getting a lot of scoring punch and chances and high volume danger opportunities and shots from this third and the fourth line. Who's going to scare you right now? I mean, that's a real issue for Colorado, even if they get through Seattle in this series moving forward. Right now, they have a third and a fourth line that is very, very quiet offensively. Ben Myers, Lars Eller, Dennis Malgin, Matt Nieto, Alex Newhook has really gone ice cold, and Logan O'Connor. I mean, that's your bottom six right now for Colorado. They aren't giving you much at the moment offensively. So much of the offense is falling toward McKinnon and Rantanen, and to a lesser extent, Val Nichushkin, who was, I thought, pretty quiet in game one. I think Val Nichushkin maybe to get a point possibly tonight as well. I mean, you want to focus on that group of players. The Nichushkin point prop is just a little bit too expensive. So I would probably just say score a goal Nichushkin at plus 214 for a better price. But shots on goal for Nichushkin certainly as well. Rantanen, McKinnon, shots on goal for them probably make a lot of sense as well. So definitely. Lack center depth, says John Massey. It shows on the power play. Comfer can't do what Landeskog does. That's true. There is a bit of a drop-off there at the offensive end. Comfer, in little flashes, has shown you the ability to give you a thrust of offense in the second center spot, but it's never been consistent with him. And that's probably, and you're missing Kadri. Yep, 100%. I've said that a bunch. The center depth has taken a hit. No doubt for this Colorado team. I expect them to go out full bore, but like I say, I see we've now seen multiple games with these two teams, and Seattle has not taken a back step to Colorado, which is why I put that Kraken team total over in my pocket, because I really do think they could find their way to 3 goals, and yet Colorado may still win this game. So kind of what I see there. All right, we've got the final game for this Thursday card, Winnipeg and Vegas. Vegas minus 165, home favorites, 5.5 the total. This is a real tricky game, okay, because this is, again, like Colorado, like we talked about with Jersey and Toronto. You would expect the spot to favor the home team here. Not looking to go down 2-0 at home in this series. But then you look at the price, minus 165. You have a Vegas team that looked like they were stuck in mud, okay? Literal mud, literal quicksand is what it looked like in game one. They couldn't generate shit. I mean, I was stunned by it. I know the Jets can be capable of playing quite well, but I was floored with how ineffective and punchless the Vegas Golden Knights were in game one. 17 shots on goal on home ice in that building where you've been so strong since you became a franchise, and you didn't even crack 20 as far as shots on goal. That's a problem. That's a huge red flag to me. And I'm not saying Vegas is in deep shit now and deep trouble, and they could come back and win this game, but that's a real major worry for me, that at home in game one against a team that is a solid group, the Winnipeg Jets defense, but it's nowhere near the 90s Devils. It's nowhere near some of those Tampa Bay teams that shut people down in their Stanley Cup championship victories. And the Vegas Golden Knights could barely generate anything in game one. So that's the worry I have here for Vegas moving. Now, I expect the start to be strong from them. But I just think this price is a little bit wide, at minus 165, just a touch high, given what we saw from Vegas in game one, which was nothing. Eichel made zero impact on the game. I hate to say it, couldn't find him with a telescope. Let's call it like we saw it. It was a rough game one for him. You could tell that was his first playoff game for sure. He's trying to get used to the ramped up intensity of the postseason. Everybody was quiet. Marchessault, Riley Smith. I mean, it was just a very quiet night for the big Mark Stone, of course. He hasn't played in a while. You can't expect him to be flying right away after being out for as long as he was. I do expect Vegas to be strong early. I have a real different, unique, weird approach for this game, and it's 3 bets here, and it's 3 different types of bets. I'm going to be on a small bet on Winnipeg here, plus 145, because I legitimately think this is the one team that could really go up 2-zip here in this series, especially when you factor in, look, Laurent Brossoit got off to a great start, but then it really tailed off for him second period, third period, and you got Connor Hellebuck at the other end, who, quite honestly, was phenomenal in game one. Now, he didn't face a ton of shots, but the shots he did face, he was real strong. I think it's another close, tight game, like Winnipeg a little bit, plus 145. This is the one game I am on the draw tonight with the Jets and the Golden Knights. I think it is definitely worth a look. And again, at FanDuel, which always gives you the best prices, you can find the draw for game 2 here with the Jets and the Golden Knights at a nice, solid value price, plus 360. I really like that price for the draw here. And I'm also going to go with a first period correct score bet. And I don't do this very often. I'm going Vegas 1, Winnipeg nothing, plus 425. Correct score in the first period. I'm going for that route instead of just Vegas puck line, because I think that really is a legit first period score where they really clamp down early. They find a way to beat Hellebuck. They pepper him with shots, and I like Hellebuck saves. And I forgot to mention, I like Grubauer saves again for Seattle in the previous game. All the teams that are down 1-0 essentially. I'm on the saves prop for the teams that are up 1-0. Vasilevsky oversaves, Shesterkin oversaves, Grubauer oversaves, and in this game, Hellebuck oversaves. I just hope they generate those shots, which they did not do. Obviously, Vegas in game 1, but I think the urgency will be there to do that. So a unique approach for yours truly. 1-0 Vegas, correct score, first period, plus 425. Small bet Winnipeg, plus 145. Small bet draw, plus 360. Alex, Jets, Golden Knights.
Yeah, I like that approach a lot, and I might actually take you a little small on that correct score 1-0 because it'll set up for me nicely. I would be looking at Winnipeg to score next goal live, and also would set up an even bigger price to grab Jets money line. I grabbed plus 130 yesterday. I did not expect to see this big of a move coming toward Vegas. I expected some money, but not to where we'd see this almost, be 145, probably close, possibly 150 before puck drop. Especially with a later start too. Well, you can certainly anticipate something I think we haven't really talked about too, but I don't know if you noticed this. We've seen more money come in on those 2 late night games so far these first couple of nights. So that's something that obviously just naturally people win from the first game. They transfer over to that second. So keep an eye on that. So we might see this close higher than 145. Could be, plus 150, maybe even 155. But if you're down 1-0, now you're getting a really great in-game price to jump in with as well. And like I said, this theory that I've been looking with now with these, what we had 6, 8 road teams win game 1. I'm going with Winnipeg on the money line, but I'm also taking Winnipeg. I got plus 700 for a 4-0 sweep. I got plus 500 for the 4-1 series win for the Jets. So that's the way I'm betting the series now, because I feel like those prices will be split in half and disappear. And I don't think we're going to get Winnipeg as a dog in game 3 if they win this 2-0. I think we're going to get Winnipeg probably opening maybe even minus 120, 125, where with a couple other spots, say the Rangers, or even Seattle, if they go back home, we might see, especially Seattle. Seattle would certainly be a dog at home, down or up 2-0 against Colorado because of just how high Colorado's been favored. Except we haven't seen that much of adjustment from game 1 to game 2. So Jets money line, grab it now, plus 145. Maybe play a little bit small. Like I said, I'll put a little small on the Knights correct score up 1-0 at plus 425. And then that sets me up for a live play in game. And then also for futures, I have Jets sweep plus 700 and 4-1 Jets plus 500.
There we go. Good stuff. I like that approach. I like my approach. I think it's sound. I think it's reasonable because I don't know if Vegas still in their lineup has the punch against a Winnipeg team with a really good goalie in net to be up by more than 1-0, honestly, after the first period. So that's why I like that correct score. And again, with the but at the same time, the Jets will be right in it. I don't think they're going to get blown out, even if Vegas brings a much better effort tonight. And there we go, Jets money line and the draw split. And it does feel like that's the one I like, the draw. I do feel like this could be your overtime game right here.
Yeah, I definitely like the draw as well, but I also have 3 of these games to go to overtime at plus 800. So that's the reason why I'm not playing the draw at 360. I totally endorse the draw, especially if you can grab 360 at FanDuel. By all means, that's definitely something I would have, but I already kind of have that in pocket of sorts. So with, spreading out other things, I'm just kind of taking that one off of the card tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. And if for the overtime game counter, which I am keeping track of because a certain person, aka me, does have over 9.5 overtime games in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we're up to 3 overtime games after last night because again we had our 3rd overtime game of the first round with Islanders Hurricanes game 2. So we need 7 more, essentially 7 more overtime games in the first round to get there. Yeah, we're off to a solid start with that, no doubt, with 3 here in the first 3 nights of the Stanley Cup playoffs here in the first round. All right, great stuff. I'm just trying to think, is there any props that I did not mention here? There is one for Vegas that I do like. Again, Everybody got shut down. Nobody generated anything, offensively in game one of that series. But when I look at it, I would look at Josh Morrissey point and assist prop tonight, worth a look. Goal prop here tonight in this Vegas and Winnipeg game. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just trying to see. I need to see better from Eichel, but I don't feel totally confident in Eichel, honestly, tonight, finding the back of the net necessarily. But, what I am going to look at here tonight for sure, though, is Riley Smith. I talked about Riley Smith after game one for the Vegas Golden Knights and the point streak he was on down the stretch. Again, everybody got shut down in game one. But if they're going to make noise offensively tonight and try to even up this series, Riley Smith has a hand in it, in my opinion. And again, plus 110 for his point prop tonight in this game. I do like that once again on the Golden Knights side. All right, great stuff. We appreciate everybody joining us here. Hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. 224 live viewers right now here on YouTube. Appreciate it very much. Shout out to our podcast listeners as well. Reminder, as always, check out patreon.com/Ice Guys. Just $10 a month. Goalie charts, totals charts, power ratings, daily Ice Guys show, betting card, bonus content, and more. Check it out. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. Just $10 a month.
Also, check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. We added some new stuff for the summertime. We got tank tops for men and women. We've also got some loungewear. We got a bunch of cool stuff along with the usual T-shirts and caps and hoodies and mugs and everything else. So check it out right now, the Ice Guys store. That's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, good stuff. A very fascinating Thursday night ahead, certainly, of Stanley Cup playoff hockey. We got best bets to wrap up the show coming right up, right after we hear from Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS. That's promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, it's about 14 million balls that you can preserve. The Performance Package 4.0 is the complete accessory package to take care of everything that is required. You've got, of course, the Lawnmower 4.0. Takes care of your facial hair and among other things. You've got, of course, the Weed Whacker. I'm approaching 40. Nose hair has become a major issue. It pisses the hell out of me. I need to take care of that shit, and the Weed Whacker can help you do that. Both of these products, waterproof and a 4000K LED spotlight for a more precise shave. And you'll also be able to take care of those delicate areas with the ball toner, with the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good, looking good, and feeling good down in the nether regions. This complete Performance Package 4.0 will take care of everything for you, for all you guys out there, and it's courtesy of our good friends at manscaped.com. So get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use promo code ICEGUYS. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, it's time for Best Bets to wrap things up for this Thursday edition of the show. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like for Best Bet?
Yeah, we're going to go with the Winnipeg Jets. You can grab them on the money line right now at plus 145, but also make sure to grab, like I said, Jets in 4 and Jets in 5 as well. I'm seeing as high as plus 750 at a couple of shops for that Jets sweep, and 5, plus 525 around there for Jets to win 4-1. So we're going to grab those two as well as the Winnipeg Jets on the money line, plus $1.45. That's my best bet for this 420.
There it is, 420 best bet, Winnipeg Jets. Jets, woo, woo. The Jets plus 130, 35 even up there. Actually, upwards now of plus 140, 45 even on the Winnipeg Jets. Alex's best bet. My best bet, we're going to go to TO. And we're going to go with the Lightning and Leafs over 6, minus 120. Full game over. We cashed the full game over with Florida. It wasn't the best bet yesterday, but we had that Florida-Boston over 6. I think we have this one over 6. A depleted Lightning blue line. I think Toronto finds some goals tonight, especially with their backs against the wall. But, we just saw Tampa put up 7. And I think it's reasonable to think Tampa Bay doesn't get shut out or totally shut down either. So I think we see goals both ways, enough to send this game over the total. Lightning Leafs over 6, -120 for my best bet here for this Thursday NHL card. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We do want to mention, actually, before we leave, you knew it was going to be this date anyway. It's been Tuesday, every Tuesday for a while now. But yes, just to make it official, our next betcast is next Tuesday, April 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Another Stanley Cup Playoffs live betcast, live betting and commentary with me, Alex, and of course all of our viewers and listeners. Drinking encouraged. DM at Bobano on Twitter, or email bobano350@gmail.com to request a spot on the betcast, and we will send you the link for it for next Tuesday night, April 25th, our next Ice Guys Stanley Cup Playoffs live betcast. Great stuff. Again, if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Thursday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. Back tomorrow on Friday. It'll be the Friday Roundtable. Me, Alex, Jimmy Murphy, Nate Rapensky, the usual Friday crew. Join us tomorrow for another edition of the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now.